We are gonna read some of the creepiest urban legends in the country, so comment below if I mention your state and if you've ever heard of any of these stories. And as always, subscribe, turn on notifications, grab your stuffed animal to protect you from the demons, and let's go. Arizona, Slaughterhouse Canyon. Sounds like fun! Let's go! I'm kidding. Also known as Luana's Canyon, Slaughterhouse Canyon tells the gruesome tale of a 19th century gold miner who failed to come home to his family one night. Without his earnings, the mother and her children couldn't buy food and began to starve. When she couldn't stand it any longer, the wife chopped her kids into pieces, tossed them into a nearby river, and died of despair. Her cries can still be heard echoing through the canyon. Well, that's a little extreme, ma'am. I feel like she skipped like 10 steps that she could have done to avoid this outcome. Talk about dramatic. Alabama, Huggin Molly. The legend of Huggin Molly is clearly a tool used by parents to get their children to obey the rules. Like saying you'll get coal for Christmas. No one ever gets coal, relax. The story, native to Abbeville, tells of a phantom woman who appears to children if they stay out late at night. She grips the lingering child tightly and screams in their ear. That's just rude. She's not meant to cause death, just one heck of a scare. Girl, get a life. Go home. That is so creepy. You're just out creeping on kids, screaming at them. Indiana, 100 Steps Cemetery. If you visit this cemetery in the town of Brazil and climb the 100 steps in the total darkness of night, legend has it you'll see the ghost of the original caretaker appear before you on top of the hill. He will give you a preview of what your own death will look like. I don't think I want to see that. Bro, I don't even exercise during the day, so what makes you think I'm gonna do that at night in the total dark where I can't see, I'm gonna trip and break a leg? Arkansas, the Gurdon Light. I don't care if I mispronounce that, guys. Like many urban legends, the story of the Gurdon Light has several variations. In one, a railroad worker was hit by a train and decapitated. Ew. The spirit can still be seen today searching for his lost light. In another, this one's my personal favorite, the railroad worker bore a violent grudge against his boss who fired him. He murdered his former employer with a railroad spike, like a vampire, just and the victim now wanders the tracks. While the Gurdon Light is well documented, no one has been able to offer an explanation as to what it really is. Obviously, it's a demon. California, Char Man. That sounds like a mascot. Per local lore, a father and son were trapped in a horrible fire. The father perished, then before help could arrive, the traumatized son lost his mind. He skinned his father and then ran into the forest all crazy. Now known forever as Charman, his blackened, burnt body is said to attack motorists on Creek Road in Ojai. So, don't go riding your bike in Creek Road. He's literally just out running around in a burnt up skin suit looking for a newer one. Colorado, the Ridge Home Asylum. The Ridge Home Asylum was a real facility that opened in Arvada in 1912. It reportedly housed patients who were horribly mistreated, some of whom weren't even mentally incapable, but had just been forsaken by their family. Though it was demolished in 2004, people say they can still hear the screams and see the apparitions of former patients on the grounds. It is a very sad truth that a lot of mentally ill patients get horribly mistreated when the families aren't around to watch them, because some of them can't even actually tell you what is being done to them. So if you have someone in a facility, do your thorough research on patient treatment and check up on them often. Connecticut, Dudleytown. The misfortunes that have occurred in Dudleytown are so terrible and numerous that its nickname is the Village of the Damned. The now completely deserted town is said to have been home to many deaths, disappearances, and even demonic activity. It is believed that the founders of the village and the village itself is forever cursed. Well, sounds like a fun place to move to. Not really. I wouldn't want to move to Dudleytown anyway. I feel like I would lose IQ points just saying it. Florida, Captain Tony's. Never heard of it. Since 1852, Captain Tony's, the oldest saloon in Key West, has been known to be haunted. Doors slam for no reason, and there are inexplicable banging noises and frequent ghostly visitations. Perhaps that's because it's the site of the town's original morgue and was built around a tree that the town had once used for hanging pirates. Please tell me who got the bright idea that a place where there was a tree that killed thousands of people and then housed them in a morgue was the perfect place for a family restaurant. Seriously, these people just don't think. I don't care if it's cheap. Hawaii, Pali Highway. I know I'm butchering some of these names. Judge me. Pele? The Hawaiian volcano goddess has many myths attached to her name. One tells of her ill-fated union with the demigod Kamapue, who is half pig, half human. Ew, why'd you get with him, girl? I'm sure you got better options. The two supernatural beings had a terrible breakup, agreeing to never see each other again. Good. That's why, as urban legend has it, if you carry pork with you when you travel over the Pali Highway in Oahu, your car will come to an inexplicable halt. Next time you're in the area, we advise you sticking to chicken. All right, no bacon in Hawaii. Got it. Alaska, the Kalupalik, an Inuit version of a mermaid or a siren, calls to children who are wandering too close to the seashore with their humming, then takes them away in her baby pouch. The greenish, woman-like creature will never return a child once taken into the depths. Sounds like a good way to convince your kids not to go in the water. Yeah, I feel like a lot of these are just moms making up scary stuff to keep their kids from dying. Iowa, Stony Hollow Road. As the saying goes, a woman scorned is not someone you want to mess with. And then don't tell her to relax or calm down. It never helps. Lucinda of the town of Burlington is no different. Legend says that when her fiance failed to meet her there as promised one night, she threw herself off the bluffs along Stony Hollow Road. Girl, why? It ain't that serious. Just go on Tinder. Get a rebound. You move on. Find another one. Ever since, her ghost has appeared to countless people. What's worse is that if she leaves a rose at your feet, you are destined to die in 24 hours. 'Cause you got dumped, I gotta die? No! I'll bring you a new boyfriend, a nice sacrifice, in place of me. 'Cause I didn't do nothing to you. Louisiana, the Carter brothers. Back in the early 1930s, a young woman escaped from the home of the Carter brothers in New Orleans with slash marks on her wrist. She told the police that the brothers were feeding off of her blood. Ew! If you ain't Damon or Stefan from Vampire Diaries, don't bite me. The cops stormed the French Quarter residence where they found more young women in similar states, their blood draining out of their bodies. The brothers, now thought to be vampires, were captured and executed, only for it to be discovered years later that their crypts were empty. Their bodies were gone. They are immortal. I'm gonna be looking out for these guys on Halloween. Maine. I have never met a single person from Maine. It has never come up, not even in history class. What happens in Maine? Nothing. Besides the Seguin Island Lighthouse. And even that sounds boring. Like many urban legends, the one in Maine has to do with isolation. Isolation! See, nothing goes on in Maine. As legend has it, in the 1800s, the caretaker of the Seguin Island Lighthouse and his wife were the only two people living on the tiny spit of land. See, literally no one lives there. That is my main point. I'm sorry. They naturally grew increasingly bored and isolated. The caretaker bought a piano so his wife could play it to keep them both entertained. But she only knew one song. The insufferable repetition of the same tune, combined with the severe sense of isolation, drove the husband mad. And then he drove an axe into her piano, chopped it and his wife up, and then chopped himself up. Have y'all never heard of just breaking up? The relationship, not your wife. But it's too late for that. Till death do us part is not that literal. But anyways, that is it for some creepy urban legends across the country. Comment below if I mentioned your state and if I didn't, and I should. But again, please subscribe, turn on notifications, follow me on social media, links down below, and I'll see you tomorrow.